A Quiet Place Day 1, the third installment in this cinematic series, hit theaters last week. Instead of continuing the unfinished story of the Abbott family, we go back to the first day when the deadly creatures fell from the sky. With a higher budget and a new director-screenwriter team, will Day 1 surpass the success of the first two films? Let's find out. If you have seen A Quiet Place Part 2, you have already witnessed a glimpse of the first day of the alien invasion. Not only did we see the Abbott family struggling to escape the monsters, but we also heard about the first day when government-mobilized ships came to evacuate people from the impact zone. A Quiet Place Day 1 expands on this unfinished story. What happened in the big city on that first day? What really occurred at the port where people were taken to safety? A Quiet Place Day 1 begins in the familiar urban setting of our present-day world. At this point, the world has not yet been attacked by the extraterrestrial predators, and people are still grappling with their everyday lives. Then, as expected, meteors fall, bringing the space monsters to our planet, and the world is never the same again. The film story revolves around a cancer patient named Sam and her cat, Frodo. When the invasion happens, Sam ends up in a temporary shelter and learns that the government is planning to rescue the city with large ships. However, chaos ensues as Sam loses Frodo, only to be reunited when Frodo returns with a new character, Eric. Together, Eric and Sam navigate the city's devastation, striving to find meaning in a world already plagued by suffering, now compounded by death. With such a straightforward storyline, we not only see the world of A Quiet Place expand, but we also witness the journey of finding purpose amidst the many hardships faced by these two friends. This narrative effectively broadens the already captivating universe of the first two films. Audiences get to explore events mentioned in previous installments and experience the anguish of humanity's initial struggle against the monsters. However, this content is quite different from the previous two films, focusing on a world in decline rather than a glimmer of hope in dire circumstances. The message conveyed in the earlier films was that life, no matter how dire, is worth living. In A Quiet Place Day 1, this sentiment shifts significantly. With the main character battling cancer, we might expect her to give up on life at any moment, and the film's events give us plenty of reasons to believe she might. However, the story is not that predictable. The journey of Sam and Eric offers a bittersweet yet comforting experience. This is not a story with a rosy, triumphant ending, but one filled with deep emotions. So if you're heading to the theater expecting a grand finale like the previous two films, where the protagonist rises up and defeats the monster through intellect, effort, and sacrifice, this might not be the film for you. On the other hand, if you seek a unique, thought-provoking, and emotional experience set in the tense atmosphere of A Quiet Place, then this film is perfect for you. Overall, by setting a different backdrop and diverging from the Abbott family's journey, A Quiet Place Day 1 has carved out its own niche. It is well-crafted, beautiful, and compelling enough to captivate audiences without becoming too pretentious, maintaining its connection to the broader theme of extraterrestrial threats. Guiding the audience throughout the film is Samira, or Sam, portrayed by Lupita Nyong'o. Her personal story is essentially about someone facing death, meeting the Grim Reaper in a literal sense. However, we don't see her being distracted by the immediate difficulties. Instead, she constantly harbors hidden thoughts and feelings. Lupita excels in conveying these personal moments of silence while the chaos around her escalates, making us wish the film would live up to its title and give her character a true moment of quiet to express what she is going through. However, the film doesn't provide that moment of quiet, but instead gives us Eric, portrayed by Joseph Quinn. Eric is a lost soul, unsure of his direction and filled with inner turmoil. Eric's appearance in Sam's life acts as a bright note in her dark days, not because he can save her, but because he is willing to accompany her and fulfill her wishes before the world ends. Through this, we come to understand the hidden depths and profound emotions within both characters. The performances of the two lead actors are exceptionally successful as they portray soulmates who stand by each other despite the dire circumstances. By the film's conclusion, their friendship truly shines, revealing their innermost feelings without a single word, which is a significant strength in terms of character development and acting. Djimon Hounsou's portrayal of Henry doesn't add much to the storyline. His character mainly serves to connect this film to the second installment of the series, so there's no need to delve into his role. The standout feature of the entire A Quiet Place series is its silence. When the first A Quiet Place film was released, global audiences experienced something unique as everyone agreed to maintain absolute silence while watching the movie. Furthermore, the first two films featured a character born deaf, allowing us to see the silent world from their perspective. This provided a deeper understanding of the story every time the deaf character appeared, adding layers of depth to the narrative. But A Quiet Place Day 1 deviates from this approach, emphasizing action, chase, and combat scenes. It doesn't provide the silent moments implied by its title, although there are still quiet intervals for the audience to experience the world's silence. Some scenes rely on somewhat unconvincing jump scares, detracting from the overall film experience. Visually, the film moves away from the secluded forest settings of the previous installments and takes viewers to a bustling city. However, a larger budget and more action-packed scenes don't necessarily translate to more effective visuals. The monsters were terrifying because we barely saw them. They could appear anywhere, anytime. This was well executed in the first two films, with only a few creatures hidden in the woods. In A Quiet Place Day 1, the increased number of monsters diminishes the cinematic experience, making it feel less like a suspenseful horror film and more like a superhero chase movie. This is a significant drawback in terms of sound and visuals, arguably the film's biggest issue. A Quiet Place Day 1 introduces audiences to a new story, new characters, and a new journey. It delves deeper into the early days of the tragic events depicted in the first two films. The story is entirely different, bringing viewers to new, profound messages that require self-reflection to fully understand. However, this might be a downside for audiences who wanted the world of A Quiet Place to expand while retaining the determination and resilience of the first two films. The performances of the two main characters are the film's redeeming feature, drawing viewers in. We don't see actors merely earning a paycheck. We see the soulmates spending what might be their final days together, striving for a more meaningful life. Sound and visuals were perhaps the biggest strengths of the previous two films, but not in this installment. The sound design lacks depth, and the visuals rely heavily on CGI, reducing the suspense and thrill brought by the extraterrestrial monsters. In summary, A Quiet Place Day 1 is a decent film. It may not be as outstanding as the first part, but it has carved out its own space and is compelling enough to draw audiences to the theater. If you're looking for a good movie to watch over the weekend, this is a solid choice. However, if you're seeking a cinematic experience as exceptional as the first A Quiet Place, this might not be worth the investment. That's my experience and thoughts on A Quiet Place Day 1. What about you? Have you seen it yet? If you have, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.